Hi, everyone. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Welcome to orientation session of Advanced Performance Management. Okay, Advanced Performance Management. It's the orientation session, and just for your knowledge and guidance, this paper is known as APM as well as P5, right? APM as well as P5 in the previous terms, and this is an important paper, right? This has a significant importance in the development of this exam, has significant importance in the development of student. This has a significant importance, right? The students gets developed through this paper. They deal with such significant scenarios. They deal with such issues that no one has idea, right? And when they go into the corporate, after studying this paper, they add some value also, right? This paper is strategically important and makes you strategically strong as well, right? This paper is strategically important and makes you strategically developed as well. Your facilitator is here. That's Abdul Basit. I'm personally ICAEW, ACCA, and BAC qualified. I have been working with one of the largest manufacturing sector of Pakistan for 4 years. So therefore, a mix and match of teaching and the corporate experience that leads towards you to signifying some topics that are very difficult to understand. It gets you easy to understand, right? Because one who has a corporate experience along with the teaching experience, it allows you to give such insights and such practical examples that leads you to pass this paper easily, right? Now, so what to be done in orientation? See, the advanced performance management, what I term this paper is the best paper that provides greater information, right? It's the best paper that provides greater information about business and its strategy. Now, this is the paper that provides you greater insights, the greater information about business and strategy. It's the paper for entrepreneurs, the paper that gives you such understanding and such equivalence that allows you to think of your that you are running this business, right? This is a paper. You are not a consultant in this paper like that. Just like for SBL and the other papers, it is your business here, and then you have to develop your practicality accordingly, right? You have to develop your significance accordingly, and that's how you can get an edge, right? Once a student has done this paper, then what will be the benefit? He'll be able to know that how a beginner or runner of a business or how the top businesses have been maintained or can develop their business as well. Now, what's the edge to pass this paper, sir? How can we pass this paper? The first thing is to understand the question well, right? The first and the far more important thing is that you have to understand your question very well. And then after your question, if it's understood by you, then your writing skills matter, right? Your writing skills matter. If your writing skills are good, then you can construct sentences, and those sentences can give you some marks, right? If your writing skills are good, then you can construct some sentences, and then those sentences that have been constructed can give you top marks, right? Can give you top marks. Now, previously, this is one of the optional paper, right? You must have an idea that you have a couple of optional papers in ACCA that you can go and you can understand. Now, what do we have is that if you see that previously the paper was TX, that's part of the skills level, right? Previously the paper was TX, that's for the part of skills level, and its advanced level is ATX, right? AA, its advanced level is AAA. FM, its advanced level is AFM. PM, its advanced level is APM, right? So, sir, that means that the performance management paper, just like the strategies or the costing techniques that we have learned there, which was ABC, which was target costing, which was standard costing, TQM. Are these all techniques included in APM? So yeah, it is included. Are these all techniques included in APM? So yeah, it is included. So yeah, it is included. Now that's totally a matter. That's totally a matter that you need to revise those techniques before going in APM. So this is why I've been teaching this paper, because I won't be teaching only the syllabus of APM. I'll give you a brief revision of all the performance management techniques that will be tested in this paper, and then we'll discuss that, right? And then we will discuss that. Now a question arises that's how do you think? Now a question arises that's how do you think that PM is different from APM, right? The questions arises, right? So see, I've written here some key points that what do PM test? Huh? I've written here some key points that what exactly do PM test? PM tests the candidate's ability in the application and analysis of core management accounting techniques. Now see, what does PM gives you? The performance management is basically tests your ability, right? Performance management basically tests your ability to application and analysis of these techniques which you have studied in performance management. Now, so what are these techniques? These techniques are ABC. This technique is TC, target costing, life cycle costing, TQM, environmental management accounting, balance scorecard, building block model. In the PM paper, what you do there, you basically understand the application and analysis. You basically understand the application and analysis for these techniques. Now in APM, these all techniques are included, right? In APM, these all techniques are included. APM, these all techniques are included. APM develops key aspects introduced with more focus on synthesis and evaluation of key topics and techniques. Now in APM, you're not gonna be calculate the numbers that you have been doing in performance management. In APM, you are not going to be calculating the numbers that you have done in the performance management. Then, sir, what we gonna be doing here? You're gonna be discussing the evaluation of these topics and techniques. That means that your role will be to discuss. Your role will be to do the discussion, to have a discussion aspect here, right? Your role will be to do the discussion, to have a discussion aspects here. So that, to have a discussion aspects here, so that you can term yourself as advanced performance management. Now, this paper can term itself advanced performance management. If the same calculation would have been going on, then there would be no, I would say, development. Then there would be no development. The thing is that the calculation aspects are more part of the skills level, what I believe, and then in the advanced levels discusses the discussions. Like in corporate, you have to give some discussions that what will be the impacts on these areas. In this paper, you have to think of those impacts, right? In this paper, you have to think of those impacts, that what can be the impact on these areas. So this paper is more towards the discussion and towards the writing and towards the drafting techniques, right? Now, a lot of students asks me, that's you teach SBL as well, right? And you teach APM as well. So do you think that there has been a similarity between those papers? Do you think that there is a similarity between these papers? So there is a similarity, right? There is a similarity. What can be the difference here is, see, I've explained here, right? There are some topics that are in both, just like Porter 5 forces, Pestel. They both are part of strategic business leadership and mass performance management. These both papers are part of strategic business leadership. These both topics are part of strategic business leadership and APM, right? Now, in SBL, you guys would have known the term of analyzing culture, environment, capability, structure analysis. You would have got that, right? You would have got that these terms, and you would have practiced these terms as well. But in APM, this is more of an accounting focus. The terminologies that are being used here, are more of an accounting focus, right? They are more of an accounting focus. The terminologies that you basically learn here, they are more of an accounting focus, huh? More of an accounting focus. They more specifically covered the controls area, the measurements area, the improvements of performance area. In this SBL, there haven't been an improvement of performance area, right? That they ask you to do the environment, they ask you to do the capability, they ask you to do the analysis, they ask you to apply the skills. But here in APM, they want you to give controls, they want you to give measurements through which performance can be evaluated, right? They want you to give measurements through which performance can be evaluated. Similarly, improvement of performance, how one performance can be improved, and that too without calculating. It's elaborating. It's through elaborating the facts, right? It's because that you have to elaborate the facts, right? It's because you have to elaborate the facts, huh? Now, example, in Potter 5 forces or in PESTEL, what you have in SBL. In SBL, the scenario is that you're gonna be investing somewhere, right? You're gonna be investing somewhere, okay? So you can use the PEST model, you can use the Potter 5 forces, you can use the Potter's diamond model, whatever the fact is, right? Whatever the fact is. But in APM, there won't be any particularly, I would say there won't be any particularly investments, and that to be evaluated through these models. What you have to do, you have to come in on these models, but again suggesting improvements, right? These applications in these models would lead towards the improvement of our entity, huh? That will lead towards the improvements of our entity. Like the controls would be up, the sustainability would be up, the processes would be up. So here, mainly the investments and the evaluation criteria have been done. But in APM, the improvement is the major focus that you have to do, huh? Now, see, to exercise professional judgment in selecting and applying strategic management accounting techniques in different business contexts, and to contribute evaluation of performance of our organization. Now, see, in APM, you have to exercise professional judgment, and you have to suggest which accounting techniques to be included here, huh? Or to be used here. Now, would you believe I worked in my corporate in which we have to suggest the accounting techniques, that with accounting costing techniques which should be followed, and that too should be followed with great sustainability and great, I would say, time period. You cannot the accounting techniques here and there, change the accounting techniques here and there. But the thing is that you have to exercise professional judgment in this paper, and you have to suggest that which management accounting techniques should be followed, huh? And that could be difficult business context, and to contribute evaluation of performance of an organization, right? And to contribute evaluation of performance of an organization. Now, who does these things? This basically does the business consultant, right? This is part of the business consultant. And after in this paper, you are majorly a part of the business, that's consultation, right? You give consultations that what exactly you have to do. Like you have to think of like a owner. Therefore, you can suggest the which best would be the accounting technique that you can, which would be the accounting technique that you can suggest, right? And again, the application should be that much strong that the background working, it's like you have done that. Therefore, you can suggest that at this particular scenario, you can use this costing technique because this suits with the business and this gives the appropriate numbers which the directors want, and this technique should be followed, so and so on, so that they can improve, so that they can improve. Now, sir, what's the course outline? What's the course outline of APM? So it have 5 sections, right? It have 5 sections. Again, one is strategic planning and control, where you're gonna be studying budgeting and control, where you're gonna be studying business structure, where you're gonna be studying environment, social, and governance, right? And we have been doing these things throughout our ACCA journey. We have been doing these things, right? But the thing is that this will be in a different context, and this will be in a different scenario, and this will be in a different structure, which can lead towards these things, right? Which can lead towards these things. So budgeting and control, business structure, and then environment and social governance. Then again, once we have covered this chapter, we'll do the drafting, right? Once we have covered this chapter, we'll do the drafting. Then performance management information system, that's performance report. You'll be evaluating the performance of the private company as well as the non-financial performance objectives, right? Not for profit organizations. Then HR aspects of performance, divisional analysis. Yeah, divisional analysis, that a company have 3 divisions and each of the divisions is competing with each other, so their performance to be taken out. And financial performance measurement, non-financial performance measurement, and then performance management of private and I would say not for profit entities, right? Then comparison of different financial measures, role of quality in performance measurement. These all sections to be covered here, right? And again, this requires a lot of drafting. These sections require a lot of drafting practice, and therefore our aim is to practice a lot of questions, right? Therefore our aim is to practice a lot of questions, because this paper requires practice, this paper requires practice. And then we have professional skills. You guys must have an idea, as you have covered SBL already with me, so you have been known that these skills have the separate benchmarks for you, these skills have separate benchmarks for you, which is I would say analysis, analysis skill is being tested, right? And then there is analysis skill being tested, and then there is skepticism, evaluation. Then we have commercial acumen. And the last but not least, that's communication. So these all skills will be taught to you, that how you can teach these skills or how you can incorporate these skills in your drafting practice. How you can teach these skills or how you can incorporate these skills in your drafting. Okay, we have a separate class for the skills. As you guys know that I already teach SBL. So in SBL, it was the first paper where these skills were introduced. So this have a heavy relation with this, right? So SBL, you can see, have a good passing ratio, but APM have a very low passing ratio for the last few attempts. And the reason is that this is a difficult paper to do, but again, a worthy paper. Again, a worthy paper. If you have got the understanding of the environment, if you have got the understanding of the exam, you can easily pass this paper, right? SBL is a paper which is easily predicted. You have the pre-scene, you can comment on that pre-scene, you know the idea that what can be done. But APM here is that you have not any prediction. You have basically a good work to do, and then you make sure that you're writing as per the scenario understood by examiner. You're writing as per the scenario understood by examiner. Now, what do I do is in my classes that I get you a lot of practice, extensive practice of past papers. I get you a lot of practice, and then in individual feedback, in that a lot of practice and individual feedback, I highlight the mistakes that got resolved, right? I highlight the mistakes that students can resolve and see if you have got checked some of the scripts attempted by you and you have been highlighted with your mistakes. If you have got some scripts checked by you and you have been highlighted with some mistakes, so that means you can easily cover up those mistakes in the exam and can pass, right? And can pass. So what's the structure? The paper structure is simple. It's a 3 hours exam. It's 15 minutes in planning time and 3.15 hours is of total exam. There are two sections. One is section A. The exam structure is like this. One is section A. One compulsory question comprising of 50 marks. That's compulsory. You have to attempt. Without attempting it, you're going to be failed. That's a compulsory section that you have to attempt. Without attempting it, you're not going to be passing. And it can be from A, B, C, or E, right? A, B, C, and the E was professional skills. So there can be three sections tested here. So there can be three sections tested here, in which A section, B section, C section is there with some professional marks, And the breakup of 50 is that 40 marks would be the technical marks and 10 marks would be the professional marks, right? That 40 marks would be the technical marks and 10 marks will be the professional marks. So how you have to get the 10 professional marks? It's simple. Professional manner. You have to write in professional manner. You have to focus on the formats. You have to focus on the queries that examiner have raised. So if you have addressed that, if you have addressed in a logical flow, you can get the professional marks. And so which professional skills are tested in section A? They are all professional skills will be tested in section A, right? All professional skills will be tested in section A. There is no categorization of any skill. There are all professional skills will be tested, and that could be 2 marks each or 3 marks one, and the remaining can be of breaking marks. So the thing is that there's no categorization. And if you have attempted this question well, this is the deal breaker question. If you have attempted this question in an exam time, if you have completed this section in exam time, if you have completed this section in exam time, then acing this exam would be easy. The thing is, it's the 50 marks. Let's say if anyone have got 40 or 35 from it, then 15 from section 2 is not the difficult one. Then 15 from section 2 is not the difficult one, okay? Any questions, guys? Yeah. So one compulsory question comprising of 50 marks, and that's the game decider question. If you have performed well in this section, you're going to be easily passing this paper. Yeah. Then section B, it's 2 compulsory questions, right, of 25 marks each and 20 technical marks and 5 professional marks in this section. Now, there will be 2 questions, right? 25 marks each, and the 25 marks breakup is 20 professional marks and 5 professional, 20 technical marks and 5 professional marks. And again, minimum of 2 professional skills will be tested here. The 2 could be any, the 2 could be any of the professional skills here. 2 could be any of the professional skills that can be tested here. So it's a paper structure. If you have got understanding of the paper structure, then you can decide your strategy to attempt the paper, because you have studied the course. If yes, and you know the structure, then you can decide it accordingly. Then you can decide it accordingly. Now, so how you gonna be covering this particular paper? How you gonna be covering this particular paper? See, I'll be conducting live classes, and these live classes would be in English. These live classes would be in Urdu as well as in Hindi, right? These live classes would be in that. And obviously, the students would have the recorded lectures as well. And obviously, the students would have the recorded lectures here as well. So it will be done now. And then what we'll do after covering each topic, the strategy to pass this paper is that after covering each topic, a past paper would be solved, so that you should exactly know that how this topic is being tested, right? That how this topic is being tested. You should have an idea. So what our strategy for this paper is that we'll have a live class and the recorded lecture as well. And then weekly live classes would result in the new past papers being solved with notes, with mock exams towards the end of the session, and which will include the individualized feedback, right? This mock exam will include the individualized feedback. And at last, in probably the last 2 weeks, I'll be conduct classes. And in probably the last 2 weeks, I'll be conducting classes of the grand revision. I'll be conducting classes for the grand revision, and see, this is how you're gonna be learning this paper, right? You're gonna be learning this paper. Reading only theory without attempting the past paper is not a good sign, I would say. So we'll go step by step. We'll have a discussion on the theoretical aspects, then we'll attempt the past paper. Theoretical aspects, and then we'll attempt the past paper. Then again theoretical aspects, and then we'll again attempt the past paper. And after that, what we'll do, and after that, we'll go, once we have covered all theory, we'll directly attempt the question papers or the mock exams. So you should have enough idea that how a complete paper needs to be solved. So you should have enough idea that how a complete paper should be solved. Guys, how to register in this paper? You can contact our admin department, admin of Mirshawalas, right? Admin of Mirshawalas, you can contact there. Similarly, you can enroll through our website at www.mirshawala.com, right? You can enroll through this website, and here's your tutor's number. You can contact me and get enrollment done. You can contact me and get enrollment done. The thing is that ATX leads you towards the tech specialization. The AFM leads you towards the financial analyst and the financial managers related roles. The AAA leads towards the auditors as well as SBRs for reporting. But if you want an ownership, if you want to lead, if you want a leadership, then the papers like SBL and APM should be your first priority. Then the papers like SBL and APM, because they ask you to become the owners and think of the exam scenarios and replicate your judgment here, and replicate your judgment here, right? So hopefully you would have enjoyed this particular session. If the enrolled students would get the timetable as well, and on these timetables we're going to be having our classes, and for those classes hopefully you would have enjoyed, and you can attempt your paper once we have covered all the classes. And if you have got the individualized feedback on the mocks, you can work on your mistakes as well. And so this is how your APM journey with me would start and would end. And inshallah, I believe that each and everyone, those students who was attempting APM while studying from me, they're going to be passing with some good marks. And hopefully you would have enjoyed this session. If yes, then you can give me your feedback. See you all in the next class. Thank you.